Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of With Love Lola with your favorite host, Lola. Make sure you guys are subscribed to all of my channels, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and most importantly, my Reddit page that is now up. Thank you guys for tuning in to today's episode, and let's get right into it. Secrets are never forever. I, 36 female, and my husband, 55 male. How do I deal with this? We have 2 children, 27 son and 30-year-old daughter, 4 grandchildren, and we've been married for 32 years. I want to keep this as short as possible, but I'm so scared of what is going to happen to our lives now that the secret has come out. My son came and saw me a week ago. My husband was at work. We sat down and I knew something was wrong and I was concerned for him. I told him to just tell me what the problem was and we will sort through whatever it was. He said he didn't know how to start, so he will just put it all on the table and see what I have to say. I was getting very concerned at this stage, never thinking that what he would tell me could destroy our lives. My son told me that he took an ancestry DNA test because, like his dad, he was interested in genealogy and wanted his kids to know where they come from and the history. It still hadn't clicked at that stage. I thought it came back with the medical issue that may be presented and expressed my thoughts. No, Mom, he said that isn't the problem. The problem is that Dad has no common DNA with him. Oh, Mama, you a cheater. I started shaking and went into shock. He asked if his dad knows. I told him no. I didn't know until now. The secret I had kept for 28 years is no longer a secret. I knew that my son could have been the product of a mistake I had made early on in my marriage, but when he was born, he looked so much like my husband that I had dismissed it and convinced myself he was his. Oh no. The mistake/bad choice was when we were going through a tough time with my husband working long hours and we were struggling to get a deposit for a house. So you decided to cheat on him? That doesn't make any sense! We were also trying for a second child. Again, and you cheat on him? Doesn't make any sense! One of my husband's friends was in our lives and he was going through a breakup and we were trying to be supportive. My husband was at work and his friend and I were drinking and just talking about life. We got drunk and yes, we slept together. I can't even remember it, and the next morning his friend and I were mortified and vowed never to bring it up. No, bad mistake in my opinion. It was such a long time ago I can barely remember it. I dismissed it as a one-time mistake and never been tempted to cheat again. Well, I fell pregnant and here we are. My husband is such a loving man and our marriage has always been strong. My son wants me to tell him as he will find out soon enough through ancestry. How do I proceed? I am disgusted that this is going to destroy my husband, my entire family. I know I was a piece of shit back then for what I did. I did not erase that. But the hurt we all going to go through, I cannot fathom. My husband has not found out yet, but I have to tell him before he does. I want to read this comment because this is important. And she says, so when your husband finds out, it's important to remember that for him, it didn't happen 30 years ago. For him, it happened when he found out. And anything you say to the contrary is basically invalidating that. Any kind of credit you think you've built up since then isn't real. It's in your head only. From your husband's perspective, this is something that just happened. Be respectful of that. Oh my God. I'm trying to imagine his world is going to completely implode. This is like a very, very divorceable finding, right? Even though it happened 30 years ago, I think it's even worse that it happened 30 years ago and you could have had better damage control if you had told him right in the beginning when it happened. After 30 years and you knew that there was a possibility that your son could have not been your husband, you have to disclose that because it's wrong. It's morally, ethically wrong. And if guys, their biggest fear I've come to realize is that they are absolutely terrified of raising a child that isn't theirs. And that's basically what he did. I mean, your son, he seems like he's okay, but how okay can you really be finding out the father you've loved your entire life isn't really your father and that your mom cheated on him? And it kind of bothers me a little bit because your marriage is done because you're only going to be telling your husband because your son found out. You're not telling him out of like a good conscience that you want to get this off your chest finally and you feel so guilty. You would have went to the deathbed with this fact. And I think that's going to hurt even more. It's like you're not apologizing because you're sorry. You're apologizing because you got caught. Oh, man. I gotta say, it's worse. I would rather have this happen yesterday than 28 years ago because you have 28 years of like lies, 28 years of deceit, 28 years of being a father to a child that's not your own. Oh, man. And she doesn't have an update. So I assume this probably went pretty bad. Am I wrong for playing a voice recording to my friend to prove that her daughter isn't nonverbal? Ooh, this is gonna get messy. So I, 30 female, have a friend, 34 female, that has a nonverbal daughter, 3 female. Let's call her Allie. I watch her 4 days out of the week in my in-home daycare. I require contracts for every child and she never filled out the special needs section. And at no point when she asked me to take Allie did she mention any type of speech delay or non-speaking issue. Although Allie didn't speak much at first, I figured she was shy. She communicated her needs to me very well and said small things to me frequently. Last month I was in the bathroom. I keep the door barely cracked with the wedge so I can listen for any dangers and they can't walk in on me or see me. She walked by and said, "Ew, you stinky." I laughed and told her mom at pickup what she said and I was met with, "She isn't verbal, why would you mock her?" I reassured her that Allie has spoken to me quite a few times and I thought this was a huge milestone from when she had first arrived and was barely saying anything. She told me that she didn't believe me and that it was messed up that I would make up something like that to upset her. I told her I wasn't trying to upset her, but I wasn't lying either. I didn't press the issue further. Here's where I might be the asshole. I decided to record Allie, a voice recording, not her face, telling me her name and what her favorite animal is. I had full intention of showing mom the recording, but I was scared at first because of her blow up at me and I didn't know how she would react. After a few short pickups and drop-offs, she told me it was water under the bridge and that she didn't want to talk about it anymore. She even insisted that I went to the birthday party. After that, I was just happy Allie could continue and I ended up forgetting I had the recording at all. Fast forward to Friday. About a month later, she had a birthday party for her other child. At the party, I was socializing with other family members. Honestly, I'm a total dumbass for forgetting that her family fully thought that she was nonverbal. I mentioned the funny things Allie has said to me while we were reading an animal book. Turns out the person I was talking to was her sister and she started yelling at me saying, "She is nonverbal, why are you lying?" Both her and her sister start berating me saying that it's effed up that I'm making this up about Allie being verbal. At this point, I'm tired of being called a liar. I have 2 disabled children whom my son was nonverbal for many years. I wouldn't lie about something like this. So while everybody was staring at me, I was scared and fell back into a corner. So I, remembering that I had the recording, decided to prove my case and play the voice recording. Everybody was shocked and my friend told me to leave. I told her I didn't want to cause issues, but I'm not going to be berated and called the liar. She said that I crossed the line recording her daughter and that I'm an asshole for embarrassing her at the party. Now I feel horrible and I'm wondering if I should have just let it go. For clarification and context, whenever she would pick up and drop off, she wouldn't ask much other than, "How was her nap? How much did she eat?" And I would hand her the daily report, then she would leave and not stay for small talk even when I would try to initiate. I know people have busy lives, so I'm not going to try to make them stay and talk to me about their life story. I also didn't do the recording to embarrass her in any way. I didn't mean any vindication by it. I can admit I should have shown her immediately after I recorded it, but I'm also human and I was afraid of a second blow up. Then, after her saying it was water under the bridge, I was just happy that she wasn't going to take Allie away, so I put it in the back of my mind and forgot about it. I feel bad about how I went about my defense, hence the boast. I know it was unprofessional and unethical. I apologize profusely to everybody at the party and the family as well. I will be putting cameras in my home that everybody will have access to, as well as updating all the contracts to let parents know what is going to happen going forward. Peace of mind for everybody sounds good to me. Also, I'll be making a call to CPS about the situation and see what they have to say. You know, what I'm curious about, right? If I was a mom and my child that I thought was nonverbal for 3 years and someone tells me like, "Hey, like your daughter has talked to me, I've heard her," my first initial reaction wouldn't be to yell and say, "Why would you say that? She's nonverbal." I'd be like, "Oh my God, wait, what? When? What did she say? When did this happen? Like, I want to see this." I would be excited and happy that she made progression. My first initial reaction wouldn't be to just brush it off and be like, "Why are you lying?" That's the weird part to me. So something does sound a little fishy. And like, I don't know, I would think that I would want to be very excited. And if you had a recording, I'd be like, "Yo, what? Show me what? My daughter can speak. She said her name." If they think she's nonverbal, then it may have something to do with her household and her not feeling safe to do anything there. I don't know. I don't like the reaction to it if you found out your kid could speak after 3 years of thinking she couldn't. My girlfriend forgot to log out from my phone and I read something that changed our relationship. There was a time when my girlfriend and I were going through a really rough patch. We were finally trying to fix things, but it wasn't easy. There was a lot of uncertainty, a lot of silence. We both wanted to make it work. We were choosing each other, but still that doubt lingered. One day we were on a bus and she didn't have her phone, but she wanted to show me a Tumblr post she had saved for me. So she logged into her Tumblr account on my phone and showed it to me. That was it. I didn't think much of it at the time. Later when I got home, I saw she had forgotten to log out. I was about to do it myself when I noticed a 1 next to the drafts tab. Just one draft. Curiosity got the better of me and I opened it. I had no intention beyond that, just curiosity. We both write from time to time because we are into books and poetry and stuff. Inside the draft, I found a few lines, something like, "Oh, but how do I love you when there is none of me left? My soul is shattered and I do not know what to do with the remains." Not the exact words, but close. They stuck with me. They hurt. I knew she had been through some terrible things, and I didn't want to be selfish, but the thought started creeping in. Does she not love me completely? Am I just holding on to something that isn't all there? I logged out of her account. I didn't say anything, but I couldn't shake the feeling. I tried, but it just kept hurting the whole day. The next day was a special occasion for us, one of our days. We usually write each other letters, little ones filled with feelings. I gave her mine. She smiled softly and said she didn't write one this time. Instead, she handed me a book, Six of Crows, one of the 2 books we had exchanged back when we were just starting to fall for each other. It had emotional weight. She told me to open it once I got home, so I did. There was a tiny piece of paper tucked into the front asking me to turn into a specific page, 147. I flipped to it and found a passage she had underlined. Many boys will bring you flowers, but someday you'll meet a boy who will learn your favorite flower, your favorite song, your favorite sweet. And even if he is too poor to give you any of them, it won't matter because he will have taken the time to know you as no one else does. Only that boy earns your heart. And just after that, the character thinks, I'm not sure I have a heart to give anymore, Papa. But right there, next to that line, my girl in her beautiful handwriting had written, but when you do find the one, the shattered remains of it will stitch themselves back together and will only beat to his name. I set the book down and just sat in silence crying. She never knew I read the draft, and I still haven't told her. But in that moment, I knew she loved me, entirely in her own quiet, aching way. It's been a long time, but ever since then, our relationship has only grown stronger. I love her so much. Oh my God. I just found out that my husband slept with my niece. My husband slept with my niece while I was on a business trip. This niece is my brother's daughter and she is 23. For more than a year, I felt like she was looking way too much at my husband, who was 40, but my mind couldn't accept this and I told myself I was crazy. I know she admires him. She is very vocal about it. I didn't do anything because I never saw anything suspicious on his side. My brother is a loser, to be frank, and a stupid excuse of a father. Drinks, gambles, and usually unemployed. My husband collects him frequently from the hospital and pays for the medicine he has for his liver. A lot of times when my niece was still a child, I took care of her, cooked for her, got her ready for school. Her mother left with someone else and she abandoned her with her father. My husband is the complete opposite of him. He takes care of his appearance, has successful businesses, 45 employees. She looks up to him and she said she learned a lot from him about how a business works. The line was really crossed when one day she insisted to iron his suit. He always wears suits and ties and she wanted to prepare it for him. I was very busy with my 7-year-old daughter who had a hard time getting used to the new school and I let it pass. A very stressful period for me, and she helped. I told her I will just order food every day, but she wanted to be useful, so she said. She cooked what he liked to eat, never asked what we wanted, just what he wanted. And 3 days ago, I found out that he slept with her while I was away on business. I left my daughter with them in the house, but he took her to my mother. I actually got an anonymous text, which turned out to be from a friend of hers. I hope it's a stupid joke. But I told him I know he slept with her, and he started apologizing and explaining that it happened just once. That they had wine and it happened. I don't know what to do now. Okay, she has an edit. I'll read it. I will add this to my post. Another reason why I think he didn't groom her was that this was not the first time she slept with a married man. She did it last year too. I had a talk with her back then and she was very proud of what she had done. She wasn't looking for love. She just fancied the idea to sleep with a man in power. That man was also with high social status and in the military. It's her thing. She sees these kind of men as superior and worthy. She never gave any chance to a guy her age and she looked down on them. She is not like a lot of modern young women who want to be independent and strong. She knows she's beautiful and she's playing the beauty card. She's extremely feminine to the point that even her voice is always soft and low. Like she wants to appear submissive and a good girl. She never went clubbing, for example, because good girls don't do that. Doesn't want a driver's license because she feels it's masculine to drive a car. Wow, I do a really good feminine voice. What the heck? Where did that come from, Malala? I will highly doubt it was just one time. Highly doubt. He went and took your daughter to their mom's house, to her grandma's house. It was very much intended to happen. As much as you want to blame your niece, you gotta blame your. Okay, I take both, but I'm more inclined towards your significant other because he's the one who made an oath to you. He's the one who is your husband. He should know better. He's the adult in the situation. This girl has a lot of trauma. Not excusing her behavior. When you have she's broken. You have a household like that, coming from that, she just wants to be loved, and that's the way that she thinks she needs to be loved, which is not the way. But I'm sorry. The income difference between my 31 female boyfriend, 33 male, and I makes me uncomfortable. How do I tell him without being ungrateful? For the past 9 months or so, I have been dating a wonderful guy. There's zero complaints about him personally, but something that keeps coming up is that he's financially much better off than I am. Oh, I thought the difference between like you are higher. If he's higher, then what's the problem, girl? What you tripping about? For reference, I am an administrative assistant, secretary for a large company. I manage a VP calendar, schedule meetings, do expense reports, process invoices. I make like $65,000, but in a high cost of living suburb and live with my parents due to some poor life decisions. My boyfriend works in IT security or something and makes like 10 times what I make. Okay, babes, he's making $650,000 is what you're saying, which may be an exaggeration. But even if it's not, what's the problem?
Give me this problem!
He's fully remote and lives in a beautiful house he's bought during the pandemic, but by himself. I think he's planning on proposing soon, and maybe I'm just overwhelmed by emotion and feeling of inadequacy. But I feel weird being financially spoiled so far and worry what it will look like later. And I know that's the most first world problem ever, but it makes me feel weird to try and keep up. Some examples. He travels like every other week for 2 to 3 days. Because of this, he has a lot of hotel, airline, and Uber points. He offers to take me traveling with him, and it's usually on my remote days, and we usually extend it to the weekend or take a light work day. He only has to buy my flight since meals and his travel and the hotel are expensed to his company, but I still feel bad. It's like $400 every other week. He buys me basically anything I show interest in. Like last month, I said I want an electric bike to run errands in our little downtown area, and last week he bought me one, and they're not cheap. Literally every weekend since the beginning of the year, we've had a date of some kind. We've done cooking classes, hot air balloon rides, sailing, fancy restaurants, football games, baseball games, concerts, horseback riding, like it's a lot. And he plans it all. I couldn't afford 1/10 of this. He bought me nice jewelry about a month in and has gotten me the whole capsule wardrobe thing, which has basically been an excuse to buy me really expensive clothing and accessories, but they're everyday stuff. I absolutely love it, but I feel guilty about it. And admin should not have the wardrobe I have. Oh my God. I feel bad for you in the sense where you don't think you deserve this. This is like every woman's dream. I don't know what has happened in your life for you to think that you don't deserve the finer things in life just because you don't have the best job. But if you have a man who loves you and can provide for you and give you all these things that you've listed, there's no problem. This is the end. This is what life is about. This is the end goal. I want to tell him not to offer me these things or to plan more affordable adventures so that I can financially contribute to them. But I don't want him to have to lower his standards for vacation or fun just for me. I think a lot of it stems from growing up in an upper middle class family and ruining my opportunities due to some poor life choices and now feeling like I don't deserve nice things. But it just makes me feel like I'm never going to be able to thank him or return the favor. Do I just start turning some dates and gifts down? No, absolutely not. Stop. Don't ever do that. Or do I have a talk about wanting to do cheaper things solely because I want to be able to pay my share or at least like a quarter? Oh my God. This man, as someone who likes to, like my love language to others is gift giving. I never once, when you give someone something, it's because you love them. And this man has a lot of love for you that he wants to put in his hard work money into giving you the best life he can. Accept that. I love that for you. I would love that for every girl in the world, okay? I understand why you feel that way. But I think once you guys are married, I don't think you'll feel as guilty. Once you feel like it's coming from your husband and it's his like duty and job to take care of you, you'll feel better. But I understand why you feel guilty. It's a good part. It makes you feel human and not that you're with him for the wrong reasons. But no, just show your appreciation. Love this man because he loves you. All right, you guys, it's time for the final story of today's episode, and that's going to be the viewer submission. These are stories sent directly to me from you guys, the listeners. I actually pull stories straight from my email that you guys sent to me and also from the Reddit page. So if you guys want your story read on the pod, please make sure you post it there. I accidentally got a stranger evicted and I still feel guilty. So this happened about 6 months ago and it still keeps me up at night. I, 26 female, had just moved into a new apartment complex. The place was cute, a little run down, but it had a real community feel. I didn't know many neighbors yet, but there was this one guy, maybe late 20s, who would always be hanging out around the pool or in the parking lot. He wasn't creepy or anything, just super chatty, always offering to help with groceries, asking how my day was, small stuff like that. One day I'm struggling with a giant Amazon package and he offers to help carry it upstairs. Super nice, right? Later that week, I casually mentioned him to the leasing office when I was picking up a package. I said something like, "You guys have the friendliest maintenance workers. That guy by the pool is so helpful." The lady at the desk got a weird look on her face and said, "We don't have any male maintenance workers." My stomach dropped. She immediately started asking me questions. What he looked like when I saw him, if he knew my apartment number. Turns out the dude didn't even live there. Oh, that's scary. He had been squatting in an empty unit that was supposed to be getting renovated. He literally pretended to live there, made friends with the neighbors, used the pool, the gym, the laundry room, all of it for months. Management called the cops. He was arrested that night. Apparently, he had nowhere to go and just blended in. I feel so bad because he honestly never made me feel unsafe. And if I hadn't said anything, he probably would have kept living there unnoticed. My friends say I did the right thing, but sometimes I wonder if I ruined a guy's last shot at stability just because I didn't mind my business. So Lola, am I the asshole for accidentally getting a homeless man evicted from an empty apartment? I'm still feeling guilty. Oh, that's hard. I can't blame you. It was an accident. And the fact that you still feel guilty shows it wasn't like of any malice. It just sucks. I think for like big apartment complexes like that, it's like kind of eat the rich type of vibe. And just like, if they weren't using the apartment anyway, why not just let the homeless guy use it, right? In that sense. And then when someone else would come, just give it to them. But I wouldn't be too beat up about it. Ugh. But that's kind of funny a little bit. It could have been dangerous. So I wouldn't feel too guilty. All right, you guys, that is it for today's episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much for sitting in with me today. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. With love, Lola. Bye.